Tyler with Gaia Gaming, and I'm here to talk about the Carta Magica Ultimate Cup and the deck I played. I want to do a profile on this deck, but I wanted to wait until after the event. It was 9 rounds long. I did go 6-3. By the end of the day, my brain was kind of mush. In the final round, I played Kyle Kemper. We both just had a mush brain, and he ended up on top. Before we get started, PSA to read your cards, because me not realizing an effect, I kind of crippled myself all day, and I'll explain that in the video a little bit more. So I played Red D Reaper, and I think red is the best way to play the deck, so I'm just going to get into my cards, why I played them, then my matchups, you know, all that good stuff. So we, of course, played 4 mothers. You want to play 4 in case you play, honestly, Black or Greymon, because they will clear out your mother stack pretty quickly. It is a hard matchup, but no matchup is unwinnable. But anyway, you usually only use 1. Mother is the card that I didn't read all the way through and missed out on acceleration. So Mother is a Digitama. You could raise her out to the field. In case you don't know, this deck plays very differently than most decks, and the your turn once per turn to add a searcher, you can add from your hand as well, which is the part that I did not know. I've been playing this deck since EX02 came out and just never realized you can add a searcher from your hand, not just from the field to her sources. So read your cards, guys. Don't tunnel vision like me. For our searcher count, we played, I'm going to be here for a second. I even stopped counting. I'm just going to keep slamming them on the table until they're done. They're going to go off screen. 19 searchers. So, there are 19 of them. Let's go 5, 10, just for people who just like to pause the video and look at the deck list. I played 19 searchers. I wanted to play 20, but I wanted to find room for stuff. At one point I was at 18, but I felt like there are times where you really want to top deck a searcher, and you need to be able to reliably kind of play the odds on that. So I went with 19. We play 4 Bubbles. Bubbles is one of the best cards in the deck. You need to play 4 of it. Its on play and security effect adds a Reaper, or a searcher from your hand or field under your mother's sources, so it helps you accelerate to get to a high source count. Another 4 of in the deck is the Pendulum Feat. It looks at the top 3, adds 1 searcher and 1 D Reaper, so it helps you get your pieces. It is a consistency piece in an already pretty consistent deck. Very important. The other important thing about the cards other than searchers, they can attack players, so you do want to get that chip damage in. You do want to be aggressive in most matchups. I played 3 Jerry. I wanted to play 4, but I couldn't justify cutting another searcher, and I felt like every other piece in the deck was very important. I did see it enough. There were very few times where I was like, man, I need a Jerry, and I didn't have one, because you don't slam it like these guys as soon as you see it. You just kind of wait for the best turn to play it, I think. So I think 3 worked fine. I played 2 Pallades Head. Just some good removal. When you have a mother established, it kills most things on the board. This is what I would call a free removal piece, because they're gonna try and remove it on the following turn. But I think 2 of is fine. 1 of, you might not see it enough. Another 4 of is the Gatekeeper. If this flips in security, even if you're not at the point where you're giving security -1, it is just a 10k body on board. More on your turn with the sources, of course. It's a great card. It'll stall out game until you find your win condition. It's something your opponent has to answer. Like, this deck is really good. Like, they have to answer these 3 cards if they're on the board, and these 2 accelerate your game plan. So, speaking of win condition, I played 3 Reaper. This is the way you win. You send 7 or more searchers from the bottom of your mother to the trash to set his play cost to 0. So he is a free rush body that can unsuspend himself by adding more from the trash to under his sources. And that is essentially how when you swing several times with him. Hope their security isn't that good, if as he can be affected by effects. But it's just a very non-standard Digimon deck. It's a lot of fun. I played the red package. I played a tie. It could be any memory tamer. If you want to run a memory tamer, I have thought long and hard about just running 4 Takato. Takato was really great. I ran 3 of it. You don't get his Gallantmon effect. You don't get Tai's effect at all other than the memory set, so this could be any memory tamer. But Takato having the effect of when you delete one of your opponent's Digimon, you can suspend him to gain a memory. It really does help you open up a lot of plays, because you could just simply swing over one of their Digimons, and when it's deleted, you gain a memory. For the options, the reason we run the red package, we run some good generic removal. We run 2 Atomic Blaster. Everyone knows this card. It's pretty good. I had 1 for a little bit, and I opted for more because I wanted to up my Imperial matchup, because it is one of the hardest matchups with this deck, and Atomic kills the Pyoldramon, which is important. I have 2 Crimson Blaze. Fantastic card. There were plenty of times I played this for like 2, and then gained memory back with Takato, and then stop them if they're like trying to play out cards from their security, or it's just a really great removal option. 2 Gaia Force for just that generic removal, and then 1 Delicate Plan, which is the biggest reason I play red, because when Reaper starts swinging, you don't have to worry about anything. You just swing for the fences, and that is how I ended probably more than half of my games. Maybe a third of the games came down to just chip damage and outlasting the opponent, but mostly it was Reaper swinging for game. There was only 1 game where I didn't have the Delicate Plan to swing with him for game, and it was one of the matches I lost. I had to swing without Delicate Plan because my opponent presented a lethal situation. I didn't have the red tamer set up, and I hit a Hammer Spark in security and ended up losing the game instead of winning. So it happens. This is what I ran. I really enjoyed it. I think if I knew about Mother being able to add Searcher from hand, I might have been able to win a game or 2 that I lost. I don't know how much of a big impact it would have made. I can tell you I ended up 69th place, which, nice. So I didn't even top 64 with an X3 record after 9 rounds. Just tiebreakers get a little wonky, but if I had won, I would have ended somewhere between, the X2s were anywhere from like 20 something to 34. So good chance I would have top 32'd, which is a big difference. The deck can get there. Like I said, I played a little poorly towards the end of the day. It is a lot to think about with this deck. It's a lot more. I know people like to think it's autopilot, but your micro decisions matter so much in this deck, and it's very akin almost to like a Lilith Loop or Bastimon deck in that way, where you have to have a lot of moving pieces. So my matchups for the day. Round 1, my opponent did not show up. So, and an early start, I did win that one. Round 2, I did play Jessmon, so we started with a hard counter. Any deck that has the ability to attack unsuspended is a rough matchup. I did lose game 1, and then I brought it back, and I ended up winning that match 2-1. So, let's go. Round 3, speaking of hard counters, I played Black War Greymon. I actually 2-0'd him. So I practice against this matchup a lot with some people on Discord. So thanks a lot for that. I learned a better way to navigate it. It's you just try to go as quick as possible, but you always have a backup plan if they're showing the ability to be able to clear your mother out. So round 4, we played Imperial. It is the hardest matchup. I played Jesse Spencer, who ended up in the finals, and it was 1-2 in that close game 3. I did hit the Hammer Spark, and the writing was on the walls. In round 5, I played Imperial again. I did take that one 2-0. In round 6, I played against Ed TCG, playing X Antibody, and he just did that X antibody thing. He got 2 amazing stacks, 2 games in a row, and he absolutely dumpstered me. That deck is very strong when it goes off. None of my removal did anything, so shout outs to Ed. Round 7, I played against Imperial again, and I won 2-0. In round 8, I played against Imperial again, and I won 2-1. And in round 9, I played against Kyle Kemper and Mastimon. Like I said before, we just both had such mush brain at this point. We were all hoping the tournament would have ended the round before. We had a close set of games. I had the combo in hand, but I only had 5 searchers underneath my mother. He hit a Bubbles Insecurity, and I added 1 from my field, from my battle area under mother. And he passed turn with Psychmon. And now remember, in this context, I did not know that Mother could add from hand. So I was at 2, couldn't reduce play cost because of Psychmon. And I was just like, dang, I really messed up when I could have just added the 1 from hand. Played the Reaper, delicate planned, but either way, Kyle Kemper is an amazing player. I will take a loss to him any day. All of my losses were to really good players, so I am not upset at all. I think X3 is a good record with this kind of, for lack of a better word, gatekeeper deck. I think Mother isn't quite like one of the best decks, one of the top contenders, but it is a deck that if you're not prepared to beat, you know, you're just not going to do well in an event, because it is going to show up. And it's I wanted to showcase this because I'm a collector who has a lot of cards, but for anyone just getting into the game, if you're watching this video, if you're brand new, all of the cards in this set, sans the memory tamer, which can be any memory tamer. I'm using just coincidentally one that's the most expensive, but this could be a hero. Like, it could be a 30-cent card. All of these cards together are like under $30. Like, it's so cheap to make this deck. If you are just getting into this game, you can buy a box or 2 of EX02 and get everything except for this, like 1 Gallantmon starter deck, and, you know, maybe like a few packs of BT7, and you probably have this deck. So this is a budget deck that I feel can compete at a high level if you put the time and effort into it. I don't think it'll be around for a very long time. I think probably once BT9 drops, the format just won't let you play this at a really high level. But this is a deck that I really wanted to showcase on the channel as a budget option. That's why I didn't put any alt arts in it. I usually alt art everything out. I want... It's important to me to get people into this game, to build the community, and I think there are some people who think this deck is toxic. I think this deck is just fine. I like that Digimon gave us an archetype that's confined to mostly 1 pack, and you don't even have to play the red stuff. You could play it vanilla, and it's not terrible. You could play everything from EX2, and you'd probably still get there. So I had a really fun time. I am hoping to get a couple more tops at Ulti Cups. I know 69th isn't a bad placing. I'm still proud of how I did. But I would like to top for you guys, to show you guys just the true power of these decks, and not just, you know, everyone gets varianced out sometimes. So again, this is the deck list. Thank you guys if you're still here watching the video. I do appreciate all your support. I do appreciate just every comment I get. I try to answer. If you message me on Discord, I try to answer. And yeah, other than that, I'll see you guys soon. I am working on what I'm going to be playing at the next Ultimate Cup, and I'm super excited for Gen Con. Let me know if you're going to Gen Con, because I will love to see you there, hang out, get some games in. And until next time, we'll see you. Bye.